Hi everyone, thanks for watching Access Hockey MI, and Merry Christmas to everybody and to all a good night.
Ah, yes.
Or day, or whatever time.
It's about to be a good night.
That's right. Today we are talking about Michael Rasmussen. It's kind of, I guess you could call it a prospect update, but we want to talk about it as far as development goes and development working, because if you know our channel at all, you know that we love talking about prospects, we love talking about development. This is probably the first season that we've been able to watch an honest chunk of Red Wings hockey. So we've been able to see these guys that we've been talking about consistently play in consistent games and do consistently well. So we want to talk about Michael Rasmussen. Before we get any further, you can like, comment, and subscribe at this point right now, and share with all your friends. We would love it. And let's get into it.
Yeah, let us know where you're celebrating Christmas from.
The website's fixed.
Yes,
the website's fixed. www.accesshockeymi.com. You can see all the stuff that you've missed over the last 2 weeks or whatever it was.
Thank you for your patience.
Those silly people that ruined our website.
Oh my goodness.
She fixed it, so she's very smart. But let's talk about Michael Rasmussen.
Yes. So last season, he had a full season, 80 games played with Detroit, 27 points. This season so far, he's had 29 games as of this point, and 11 points. So he's doing pretty well. I think he's probably on track to match or beat that, considering his production so far. Beat it.
He's going to beat it.
For sure. That's a lot of confidence.
He's still young.
Oh, yeah. I wrote that in my notes because he's only 23. For some reason,
we were surprised at.
I feel like we should have known that, but he looks like he's like 35.
Well, it's not only that, but we've been watching Rasmussen since he was just a wee lad.
Yes, since he was a young warthog.
And we've seen him with the Griffins.
Yep.
We saw him during like some recovery stints when he was injured a couple times. We saw him when he first came over and started playing in the AHL when he first was drafted by the Red Wings. So we've been watching Rasmussen for a long time, which is why in watching the recent Red Wings games, we have realized just how much he has developed. So this isn't something that's like one day he woke up and he was just an amazing player. He really, I mean, he was great because he was drafted first round for the Detroit Red Wings in 2017. So clearly he had promise, but he, I think, is showing just how the development should be working if a player takes hold of it and learns from it.
Yeah, and the thing about Ras, and anytime we've ever interviewed him when he was in Grand Rapids, up until this point, like we haven't talked to him since he's been in Detroit, but he has the mindset and the mentality that it takes. Every time he was back in Grand Rapids, it was always like, well, what do you have to work on here? What did Detroit tell you? That kind of stuff. And it's literally like well, it's business as usual. I'm going to come here.
I've got my homework. I'm going to do it.
Exactly, where it's like okay, I'll do it. Checklist item. He gets it done. Off he goes. And that's why he's never really spent too much time in Grand Rapids in the first place. He's been up with Detroit for so long. So the mindset with him is very mature. And that's why it's so shocking, too. We have watched him for a long time. But he's only 23. And I'm sure most of you would agree, like, he looks like he's the middle-aged
He's a grown man.
Of 4,
like, he definitely looks like a mature hockey player, like he's been in it for forever.
Right, and one of the biggest things that we've both noticed, it just suddenly struck us this season, is his skating. How much that has improved, because he is a big boy.
He's a big guy.
6'6".
And if you watch us at all, you know that we're always like, oh, they're big, their skating's probably not going to be as good, which most of the time, I mean, they have to work on the skating.
Yeah.
He has worked on his skating. He accelerates like a champ.
Yeah.
And he uses his legs and his wingspan, and he takes away the space of the other players, which is incredible to watch in games, and he's great behind the net, he's great in front of the net. He's just done so well.
He has, and his agility has gotten really good, because I think he was always a strong skater. It's just with a body that size, the acceleration, the initial push is really hard to come by to get enough back there, because, I mean, you're hauling around a whole heck of a lot of weight, but also the agility. It's a lot to move around in a very small space.
Yeah.
And he has been doing so well with that, especially at the speed that the NHL goes. If you watch it side by side with the AHL, it's incredible how much faster it is up top. But he's done a really good job with that.
Yeah, and he, I think, is just a very smart hockey player, too. He has that hockey IQ that you always want to look for in a player, and I think that he uses that to the best of his abilities. He can play against some of the top guys and take away the space from them, take away scoring opportunities, and be net front and be present, and he's just very good at doing his job. And even recently, because Larkin is having some hand issues, he has been trusted to take the face-offs for the most part for Dylan Larkin, who, can't use that hand.
Yeah, I believe it's the top hand on the stick, which obviously in a face-off is very difficult to use.
Yeah, so he's been trusted on that line to be taking face-offs, which he has improved this season already from, what did you say, 35% to 50%?
So 2 seasons ago it was 35.5%, then it was 40%, and now last year was 50% success rate, and this season already he's at 50% efficiency with his face-offs.
I think he might be a dream player for a team based on the fact that he improves. Yep. He doesn't stay stagnant. He keeps improving year over year in his stats, in his skating, in his just mental capacity, in his ability to just handle the game.
Right.
And I think that is, I don't want to lose out on that as far as skip over it like it's nothing, because I think to have a player that's stagnant and doesn't do anything or just kind of hold space, it doesn't help a team. And Rasmussen has shown that he can, he can maintain and he can improve and he can just excel at what he's given task-wise.
Exactly, and I feel like he's become a utility player too, because initially, and I don't know how many people actually know this, but he initially was a wing, like a left wing, I think it was. And then in Grand Rapids is when they switched him to play in the center position. So that was a new position for him at that time, and he adapted.
Because they wanted him to do it.
They wanted him to be a center.
You're going to be a center.
Yeah, body that size and a reach that long, you want that in the center. So he got switched during the early stages of development, and he has just embraced that. And so with that, he becomes a lot more flexible as far as where you can put him on the ice. Granted, he's always in the center slot right now, but I believe if there was an issue with someone on the wing, he could easily cover that, and it's almost like it's intuition. It's ingrained in him to be able to do that, and that's so beneficial for a team.
It goes back to what you said. If he's given a task, we'll do.
Everyone's noticed he has the same facial expression 100% of the time.
He does, but I think that's good because he doesn't show that he's rattled if he is at all, ever. Which I know sometimes he is because he pushes someone or gets them in a headlock or something.
Pats their face, pats their head maybe.
That should be more of a thing.
Just pet the face.
Yeah,
Marchand got it all wrong with
the glove. My
thing.
favorite's when they take their glove and they're
just push them down. But yeah, he's become a very reliable player, and what I keep coming back to is the fact that he is so young. You compare that with other younger players on our team, which seem like they have so much farther to go. And I believe that Rasmussen, the way he embraced it in the early stages, I don't think he allowed himself to get defeated. Granted, there was some times he was frustrated. He was in Grand Rapids when he was recovering from back surgery and stuff, or a back injury, I should say. But even that, he took that with a grain of salt, did what he had to do the work and get back up.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate how it's more of he's told what to do and check, you got it.
Yeah, and I think we can include him in the Red Wings are getting such a young team because, 23.
Yeah.
And so I hope that we can keep him in a contract, because I wouldn't want to lose him as far as, he's done the work that he needs to do. I think he's showing that he can continue to do the work and become a trusted player for the Red Wings. So that's kind of, I feel like, a quick assessment of Michael Rasmussen.
Yeah, we've been wanting to talk about Ras for a while. It's just other stuff kept coming up.
Like I said, we've just been able to watch an honest, good amount of Red Wings hockey, which has been amazing and great to watch. They have not been winning a ton in the last few games, but it is sad that they haven't been able to get the win, but in most of the games, they're not playing poorly.
They're not playing like they've started defeated, and I feel like this
is different. Like we said, I think in a previous video, they have confidence that they can pull it out. They just haven't been able to finalize the game in their favor.
To be consistent. It's nice because guys like Rasmussen have been with us for, 2017, what was that, 5 years ago now already? That's wild.
Yeah, 5.
Almost 6, considering it's close to the new year.
Yeah.
But that's a long time to be in the system. That's a long time to grind it out to really start seeing that full player to come in fruition. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of players, in my head, I can be like, okay, we can do without them, because you can see that they're really not putting in the effort. And I feel like Ras was always just the put the head down and do the work kind of guy, and that's starting to show. He's not flashy. He's not a high scorer. Yeah. He gets the puck in the net, but he's not one of those guys that's going to be nominated for any award at the end of the season for production. But the small things, the stick movements, being there for his guys, taking face-offs, that's all going to add up, and I think he's at this point making himself invaluable.
Yeah, I think that he is showing that it's going to add up and that it's good to keep him. So that is basically our take on Michael Rasmussen at this point of the season and at this point in his career with the Red Wings. So let us know in the comments what you think, if you've noticed him on the ice at all, or if there's something in his play that you really like or maybe that you don't like, let us know there. Have you been watching much Red Wings hockey? Let us know how you think they're doing, even though they're not pulling out wins. Do you think they're playing like winners anyways? I know that sounds kind of confusing, but you get what I'm saying. You totally get what I'm saying.
Are we winners but like not winning?
Do you get what I'm saying though? Yeah, so let us know in the comments. Again, Merry Christmas, and we will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.